Hey, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I just last week I know we touched on a couple of different things. This is session number 6 and it looks like, we're coming to the end of our counseling relationship. So, not counseling relationship, but just, the journey that you've been on. Of course, before we start, just want to let you know that everything is confidential between me and you. There will be nothing that goes outside of this conversation, so it'll just be strictly us. But I wanted to start off by asking you, how you're feeling, how you're doing, any updates, anything new?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel a lot better from our last sessions. I feel like got a lot accomplished. Um, the journaling and all of the techniques that we talked about have really been working. So
Okay. Cool. And then I know that last time we were talking about you were having like some anxiety just throughout the course of our sessions that we've been doing. You've been talking about just anxiety that you've been experiencing throughout your everyday um your journey. So
yeah,
when you're using these coping strategies with journaling, how does journaling make you feel after you feel like you completed it?
and I feel like it's like a note to myself. So you know, it's not always like bad feelings that I'm getting out when I'm journaling. It kind of helps me put it in perspective a lot of things because like I'm thinking it, but then when I go back to read it, like I can like really decipher what I'm, wanting to do and my goals pretty much.
Okay. And I know we set some goals in the beginning when we first started our session. I know one of the goals was um, basically, finding 3 different coping strategies that you feel like will help you. I know we talked about a couple of different ones. Is there any ones that you felt like is like your go-to, or
I
you
think
helped you throughout, helped you the most?
yeah, I think what's really just kind of helped me is like the journaling, for sure.
Hmm.
And kind of recognizing when I'm getting in those modes and taking a step back and just, kind of releasing everything and
Hmm.
not allowing it to build up to the point where I'm just kind of like like overly stressed or feel overbeared with things. But honestly, I just feel like, yeah, take a step back and breathe and just like maybe even forget about whatever I'm thinking about for a little bit to give my brain some time to relax. And I
Yeah,
think that's helped a lot.
I know another one that we used was reframing the thought when when you feel like you're in a overstimulated situation on, how you can change that. How do you feel like that's worked for you? Do you feel like that's helped throughout the journey of you trying to maneuver through your anxiety as well? Or
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had to really kind of work on that one for sure. But when I kind of really got into like fix, actually taking the steps to do that, I think it's helped a lot. I feel like I'm having better results in life too because of it.
okay. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
sometimes it's hard to do, and sometimes it feels like very foreign when you do it, but it's like the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's almost kind
yeah,
of like, working a muscle. It kind of feels off when you first start, but like once you kind of import that and input it into what you do and how you think, it kind of gets familiar to you.
yeah.
It's a little easy.
It's kind of like natural now, second mind.
Yeah. And it's almost like manifesting too. I know like a lot of people, they that's a way that that's a different way to manifest. Are you
Yeah,
like into manifesting anything like that? Are you
oh,
familiar with
yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, I just feel like until I like started working with you, it was a lot of blockage there. So kind of just helping my brain flow better, just day to day life, and not being so overbeared and stressed with it. It's I'm starting to see things come into fruition for sure.
Yeah, and that's an awesome way to think. I know that, like I said, it's hard at first, but once you get into the groove of it and It becomes, like I said, second nature.
Yeah.
Um, I know another thing that you said that you wanted to start was going to the gym. How's that been going?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually been going really good. I actually have lost 22 pounds.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. I feel like I'm kinda starting to feel like, a better version of myself. I
Okay.
feel a lot more confident, and yeah, it's something that I don't wanna stop because I feel like it has become a really good stress reliever.
Hmm. That's awesome. I love that you're able to take that into, like, put it into your day, and it works out. And I love that. Like, I'm glad that you were able to figure out how to make that work for you. Um,
Yeah,
and then, like, moving forward, like, I want you to be able to, remember these things. I know it's easy to, fall back into feeling stressed out and anxious because our body kind of remembers those nerves in your nervous system. But it's like when
mhm,
you get to overwhelm, just go back to thinking about, what worked and
yeah,
to what was able to bring you back down to reality. I
yeah.
know another thing that we went over, was basically grounding yourself. So I know we went over grounding yourself. Basically, remember when we were saying, um, when you feel overwhelmed, make sure you can point out something that you can see. Make sure you point out something that you can touch. Make sure you point out something you can smell, something you can taste. Have you been utilizing is that one as well?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say as much,
Hmm.
but I definitely have used it. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So I'm glad that you were able to incorporate that one too. But I think you kind of touched on the one that you like the most, which is going to be the journaling. You feel like you were able to get over some things for the well, what were you able to get through for journaling? Can you give me like some examples?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, okay. I know that you were talking about journaling. You feel like that one it kind of helped you the most. Um, when you're able to point out your triggers and for those triggers that
I'm
you have,
sorry, my kid came in the room.
can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, I'm sorry. It froze.
Oh no, you're fine. I was asking, when I think you said that you were journaling, was the easiest one for you. When you, what were some of the things that you were able to get through journaling? Can you give me like some examples?
I feel like my emotions more so like I don't think I ever realized how closed off I am emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And like writing certain letters to myself, it was like a wounded child. But I mean, I feel like it helped me really just kind of see like I'm not that person in that place.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me see some things that I did need to work on and try to be a better communicator for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I feel like once I put it to the paper, it's like it was kind of like a form of releasing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
It is a form of release, and especially when you just feeling just overwhelmed. Like I said, it's easy to feel you can feel overwhelmed driving in traffic. But it's
yeah,
sometimes when you don't have that one person that you feel like you can just run to all the time in between our sessions, I still want you to, be able to have that outlet to, get out all that anxiousness.
yeah. And that traffic one, I've been working on that too.
Especially being in Houston. Houston is
Yes.
the traffic can drive you crazy, but and then you can even add that reframing the thought of, hey, when I'm going through traffic and people might cut me off and drive me
Yeah,
crazy, hey,
no, I definitely think
at least when you are driving through traffic and when you able to reframe the thought of, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy, I'm going crazy. I can't believe this person cut me off, or I'm about to be late to work. You gotta reframe the thought of, hey, at least I have a car. At least I'm able
Yeah.
to drive to work and do what I love.
I think too, sometimes when traffic is the way it is, I started thinking like, maybe like this is God telling me slow down, even though I want the traffic to move fast. But it's like his way of saying, no, I need you to be still,
Yep,
even though it's uncomfortable right now. But I don't know. I feel like I've just really started listening and stop being so upset and angry so fast as to how others drive because I feel like it's a message, in the midst of all of that.
yep, absolutely. You could be avoiding anything, a car accident, a
Right,
ticket, a flat tire.
right,
Knows? That's
right.
also a good way to think about it. That's another way that you reframe your thought and see how easy it is for you to, like, once you do it so many times, it almost becomes a part of just thinking positive, which is like
Yeah,
a great thing.
yeah.
That's awesome that you were able to even just do that quick analogy. That's awesome. Um, I know that you also, were saying that after your breakup, you were wanting to, go after more of your goals. You feel like you had more time and you wanted to work on yourself and your self-esteem, and that was a part of, doing what you love. Can you tell me any progress that you've had with that as far as like, building up your career?
Yeah, I mean, so I think last time we talked, I told you that, I passed my real estate test finally.
Mhm.
So I became a licensed agent. And I've kind of been getting to, going with that, like setting up all my stuff necessary. And I actually got some people, interested in working with me. So
That's awesome.
um it- yeah, it's really exciting. It's just like, dang, things are changing real quick.
Yep.
But the things that I want.
Yep.
So I'm excited about it.
And just imagine, like, when you sell your first house and see how long it took you to get to this journey, but it's
Yeah,
about the journey.
right. Not about how long it took to get there, but the
Because now
steps.
you feel like so excited. Now it's like, okay, I'm doing something that I love and that I'm passionate about. It's so hard to do something that you don't really care about. When you put time and effort and work into something and it actually
Right,
happens, it's just like, that's like another adrenaline boost.
right, exactly, for sure.
Definitely a self-esteem booster. So that's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
When do you start? Have you gotten any houses, any prospects, anything like that?
So I have like a couple of prospects. Like I said, it takes a couple of weeks for me to get into certain systems. So I'm just waiting to get into one of the systems, so I can start showing them the houses.
Mhm. That's awesome.
But I mean, it's a lot to learn, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm learning everything that I can so I could be my best for, the people that I'm serving.
Okay.
But and it's moving really quick though.
Yeah, and that's how you want it to move, right? You've been putting all this time and effort into studying. You definitely
Yeah,
you wanna get the ball rolling on, all the hard work that you put in.
yeah, and I think that kind of deals with like going back to the anxiety thing
Mhm,
because even though like it's moving so fast,
mhm.
I'm actually not having anxiety like I thought I would.
Yep,
So I feel like all like the techniques are really working. Like, and I guess I think really half the time I don't even realize that I'm even using them because I kind of got into that motion of just doing it now.
yep, and
And
that's how therapy works, and
yeah,
that's what we wanted you to be able to recognize, hey, I'm starting to feel anxious. My heart is starting to beat. My palms are starting to sweat. Like, let me just, what can I do to get out of feeling anxious? So
yeah,
that's the big progress and, why we're here and why we do what we do and why you're, wanting to go through your healing journey. So, I say keep going. It's only going
most
to get
definitely.
better. It's only going to get easier. Um, I can tell that you've already, you've made so much progress. Of course, it's still a work in progress, so you're gonna have to keep going. And it's not a thing where you reach a certain level and it's like, hey, I made it. It's a continuous pursuit.
Right.
It's a continuous pursuit, but make sure you just keep that in mind. Um, I know last time that we talked about, I know we were doing like the empty chair. So I know last time we talked about, um, what you feel like you would tell your ex if just to get some of those words and some of that closure. Do you feel like you feel better from it? Is there anything that you feel like is bothering you still, or how do you feel about it?
Honestly, no. And I think I'm like that because, for so long things weren't that good. And I think now I finally like kinda took my reign back and like, stepped up and just finally did something I know is good for me. And it does feel good. I don't feel bad about anything. Like, and I actually tried to communicate with him. Well, not try, but we communicated. And I think that we'll be okay, in co-parenting
Hmm.
and maybe even building a friendship.
That's
But yeah, I think that the relationship aspect, I'm really glad that I made that move and that step.
I'm glad too, especially if you feel like it was the best thing for you. It seems like, you're you're on your way to being the person that you say you wanted to be. A higher self-esteem. You wanted to really figure out who you are as a person, what triggers you, how to get through them, how to cope through. And that's all in the betterment of you.
Yeah,
And so, I say keep going. I'm super proud of all the progress that you've made. And, I want you to make sure that you just keep an eye on like your triggers and make sure that you are don't forget about your just because you're feeling better, don't forget about all the progress that you made. Make sure you
yeah.
in your pursuit.
Of course, if I need you, I'ma call you.
So yeah, so basically every just kind of remember everything that we went over. Of course, I think that you've done great as far as um the strides you've made towards, having your depression spells or having just, feeling anxious and overwhelmed. I say keep going. Remember everything that we've talked about. I think that you've done great. And of course, if you ever need anything, if you ever um, need to feel like you want to have more sessions or come back, just call me. We'll set up an appointment and we'll get started on the ball rolling again. But for now, I think you've done great. I think you've
Thank
done.
you.
Is there
I
any
appreciate you.
no problem. That's what I'm here for. Um, is there anything that you would like to add or anything before we terminate?
No, I think that's it.
Well, like I said, if you need anything in the future, make sure you give me a call. My door is always open. My phone is always waiting. So anything you need, okay? It was nice meeting with you.
Nice meeting with you. Take care.